Hi guys, it's Jeff at Slavens Racing. This video is about how to install a Thunder Products torque wing into a fuel-injected two-stroke model, one of the TPI models, 18 on up. KTM or Husqvarna, they're all the same, 150, 250, and 300. And that's the torque wing right there. And we've been selling these for years for carburetor bikes and had great success with them. They definitely give more low-end torque and mid-range pull to the carbureted two-strokes. And now we're going to try them out on the TPI models. Now this has been out for a while. I'm just kind of a little late to the party here, which I usually am. I don't get in a big hurry about being the first guy out with stuff. I kind of like to take my time, analyze things, and make sure it's a good product before I move forward. And so here's one that's already installed, but I'm gonna do a dual one. So I'm gonna install one on the intake side, the engine side, and then the intake side, the air filter side. So I'm gonna install both. So that one's already installed, obviously. Then I'll show you how to install the other one. And back up just a little bit. You know, obviously you first have to get off the bike, and this is how I do it. I just remove the bottom two subframe bolts. I don't even loosen the top subframe bolts. And then I take the bolts out of the muffler, just let it hang there. And then I just remove the hose. Some of the throttle body would be sitting right in here, obviously. And I just remove the back hose, leave the front one attached until I get this subframe up, because I don't want to pull out the whole thing at once. And then when you're doing it, the throttle body tends to stick under this air boot here. So I usually use a flat blade screwdriver to kind of pop it off as I'm pushing up on the subframe. And then it just kind of stays there by itself. Pull it out, pull it over here to the left side, remove the cables, which are underneath that plastic cover right there. And then you need to remove the throttle position sensor, which is this piece. And hopefully you have a guard on it like this, because that's a very expensive piece. They're over $400. And if you fall over and bang a rock or a stick into that, you will break it. I've had customers do it. That's why we came out with it. It's not a bling item, it's a protection item. So there's the throttle body, and now we're going to move over to the vise and show you how to install it. Now I'm over here at the vise. I've got it mounted in here very gently. You know, because it's round, it does not fit in the vise well. And do not clamp down on it hard or you will break it. I don't know what these throttle bodies cost, but I'm sure they're not cheap. So just lightly snug it, and then when I go to cut the grooves in it to install the torque wing, then I'm going to hold onto this side as I'm cutting those grooves. So you can see it's not in there tight, so be careful there. Now here's one that's never been installed. And this cutaway right here is for the butterfly, so make sure that you've got it in the proper orientation to where the butterfly can move through that area like this. And then here's one that I've already been getting ready to install. So these outer tabs here that you can see are straight here. You have to bend them. This is all in the instructions as well. You just have to grab those pair of pliers and bend them. They bend real easily. They don't break off easily. Maybe if you wiggle them back and forth a few times they would, but you should only have to do it once. So you start by doing that so that you can drop this piece down inside. And you want to make sure that this horizontal fin lines up with this plate in here. Try to get it in the center of it, But you want it to where when you open the throttle, you know, that this butterfly lines up with the horizontal fin. And then I also want to make sure that this one lines up with this one. So it can take a little jockeying. I kind of put it in there and I grab it with a pair of pliers and then I twist it around until it lines up. Then I make my marks. So I don't know if you can see them here, but I've got scribe marks here and here where I want to cut it with hacksaw and make a slot for this little tab to fit into. This tab and this tab. And you're thinking, oh, I don't want to cut into my throttle body. Well, you know, even if you cut into, because I might not like this thing or something, so even if you install this, you make these little cuts. Those are covered up by the air boot on one side and the intake boot on the other side. So you could remove this piece and still have no negative effect. So it's not a big deal. All right, I'm going to put this back in here. And then I'm going to saw. I think in the instructions it tells you what size hacksaw blades to use. This is an 18 tooth. I think that's the one they say. I'm not positive, but it's working for me. So I'm going to continue on here. You know, when doing stuff like this, slower ends up being faster. If you get in a big rush, if you don't do this kind of stuff on a Friday night before a race on Saturday, you know, do it the weekend before when you got plenty of time. Otherwise, just don't do it. I mean, just don't add that stress to your life. Don't add the chance of making a mistake. You're wondering how deep to make this cut. Well, you're going to make it as deep as this piece right here is wide. If it ends up being a little shallower, that's all right. You can file it off if you want. That looks pretty close. Looks pretty good there. And that's how you do it. So let's see if that slot's deep enough or not. Yes, it is. And so is that one. That's really about all there is to it. Just to kind of review here, you bend these outer tabs to where they stabilize the wing inside here. It's in the instructions. And then since I'm putting in two, you can put in one, but the guys at Thunder Products have tested it with both and say that's a better setup, so that's what I'm doing. And I've got good alignment. So in other words, you can see through there, both of them match up. The butterfly matches up with the horizontal fin, you know. And these things are just stainless steel, sheet stainless steel, so if you get it in there and it's not quite right, well, reach in there with a pair of needle nose or something and tweak on it a little bit. You can do that. You can bend it a little. It's not going to hurt it. I'm just going to double check this one more time. once this thing is installed on the bike, you know, it can't come out. Even if this thing came loose, it can't suck into your engine. So, but it's not going to come loose because it's held in by the boots. Anyhow, guys, that's all there is to installing them. So I'm going to put this back on the bike. I'm going to go ride tomorrow, and then I'll give you a report on how it works. That's all for now. Hey guys, I just did a long loop on 300 here at elevation just to check to see how this how these torque wings are going to perform. And as soon as I got it, you know, within a few feet of my house, I could already feel the difference in the torque. And then I live in a really steep, hilly neighborhood, and pulling up through there in 5th and 6th gear, it was definitely a noticeable improvement just getting away from my neighborhood. And up here on the trails, it just pulls stronger in the bottom and the mid-range everywhere. You know, I'm not sure that it revs any harder on the top, probably not. That's something I'd have to really see on a dyno, but the butt dyno tells me that this thing is definitely well worth it. It definitely pulls, you know, at least a half a gear taller in places. So, you know, what I mean by that is, you know, whereas before, say I'd be in 3rd gear going up a climb, maybe even revving it fairly hard in 3rd. Well, now I can pull that in 4th. So, you know, it definitely gives it more bottom end and mid-range, gives it better throttle response. You know, there's really no downside to this product. It just makes it run stronger and smoother everywhere. It doesn't make it have a big hit or anything. If you're a motocross guy, it's not going to give you that. If anything, it smooths out the transition from the bottom into the mid-range. And I'm always looking for that because you can see here the stuff we ride on is, you know, decomposed granite. And there's not a lot of traction there on a dry day. So on 2 strokes, it's really important to have smooth power delivery in those conditions. I know lots of guys just want to whack the throttle and light up the tire and all that kind of stuff. That's just not how I ride. To me, that's just wasting a lot of energy and tearing up the trail and tearing up tires and everything else. But, you know, I run them at the lower part of the power band most of the day. Doesn't mean I don't like to rev them, because I do. But in the appropriate place where there's a nice long straightaway or something, then I'll definitely rev it. I don't like just a completely bottom end motor. I like them to have a nice, well-rounded power band, and this definitely attributes to that. The Thunder Products torque wing is a great product. I just stopped by that company when I was on a recent trip back east, and you know, they're great people. They definitely support their product, and that's what we always look for in our vendors. So this one's a home run, guys. Pricing and everything's on our website, slavensracing.com. It's in the performance engine and then performance section, and also the fuel and air section. So if you have any questions, just drop us a line, info@slavensracing.com. And please get out and ride. Don't forget why you bought your bike. Get out and have fun. These are high stress times with the COVID and everything else going on. So throttle therapy is the best thing you can do. Hope to see you on the trail. Later.